Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Average Uninformed. This week, we're going to dive into a whole whack of comic book movie news. Also, as the title suggests, we are going to give our take on Season 2 of The Punisher. Enjoy. Just hit record and we can start wherever we start.
All right. Oh.
Yeah.
How you doing, Victor?
I'm good.
Are you staying warm?
No, I am freezing. I'm wearing socks for once, which is very unusual for me.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I noticed that. But yeah, it was negative 22 today. Real feel of negative 36.
Yeah,
this
that
morning.
sounds right. This is why I avoided leaving the house the last 2 days.
Yeah, I have to take the dog out every day. That sucks. But he hates it, so he just goes like right at the door.
Just does his thing.
And then goes back in.
Oh.
That's kind of nice, but it actually takes longer the amount of time I'm outside is less than the time it takes to bundle up.
You got to get one of those, like, is it your shoes?
It's between me putting on shoes, coat, hat, gloves, putting a little jacket on the dog, getting his leash out, doing all that. Like, it takes like 2 to 5 minutes, and then he pees for 30 seconds, and then we go back in. He's 7 years old. I think he turns 8 in December this year.
Oh, he's that old already?
Yeah, and I still get multiple times a week, "Oh, is that a puppy? How old is he?" And it's like, no,
yeah.
He's 8.
8 months?
No.
Weeks?
8 years. So that means he's almost 60 in dog years. Like, so, Victor.
So, Josh?
It's cold out, but I'm going to warm you up with some news. How do you feel about that?
Let's do it.
I got a few like random stuff, and then I have a big chunk of like Marvel leaks that we can talk about.
Leaks?
You
have my curiosity?
Yeah, well, we'll get to that at the end.
All right.
There's a 24 Jump Street in development.
Are they doing the Sony crossover with Men in Black?
They are not.
Oh, come on.
I don't know if you noticed this, but the last one was 22 Jump Street. So they've skipped 23 altogether.
I didn't click. I knew, when you said 24 Jump Street,
Just thought
part
I
of me was
misspoke.
part of me was just like, oh, that's weird. Doesn't sound right. But I'm excited.
But I think that goes well with their sense of humor. But you know what I think would be a better movie? I'm sure they have a good idea for their sequel, but I think they should wait 25 years and make fun of the sequels that happened 25 years later.
So you want to wait 25 years to make one joke?
Yeah. Well, it'd be several jokes. It'd be like, remember that trend 25 years ago? And they would make sequels to movies 25 years old. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Moving on. I'm excited.
Yeah. We'll talk more about it when we get more news. But as far as I know, Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill are expected to return.
There's no way Jonah Hill's going to pass for anything like within us, like any age group under 25. There's no way he's going to pass for that. He looked old in the last one, 22.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I thought you were like talking about like he loves making movies for people under 25. And I was like, what? Where are you basing that off of?
Well, no, like, yeah, they went to college last time. Like,
yeah.
they made jokes about him being like what,
with crow's
30?
feet. Yeah. Do you like Christopher Nolan, Victor?
I find his movies are drawn out and boring.
Yeah.
I like the concept of his movies. Like, I watched all of them, but I never find a reason to go back and watch them. Why is that?
Well, the Warner Brothers set a 2020 date for his next movie.
Huh.
We don't know anything about it, but
What was the last movie he did?
was that No, it wasn't Interstellar. It was.
Oh, the one with the war movie?
Yeah, I'm blanking on the name now.
Shit. The airplanes, the guys, a bunch of guys on a boat.
Yeah, if I can remember the place where it happened, that is the name of the movie. I don't know why my brain keeps just shouting Stonehenge, and it's like it's not Stonehenge.
There's water near Stonehenge, right?
I can't remember the name of this movie. It came out like last year.
You know what? We can move on.
310 to Yuma. I bet you it was 310 to Yuma.
That's not a place name.
No. Hey, do you know who Ariana Grande is?
Is that a drink? Yes, I know which is.
So she got a tattoo on her hand this week.
Ooh.
In Japanese characters. It was supposed to say 7 rings, but do you know what it actually said?
6.
No, it said small barbecue grill.
What? Was that a joke?
No, she forgot one of the characters, like the middle character, so it made it say something else.
Wow. Okay.
I don't understand how Japanese characters work. Apparently neither does she. So So now her hand says, instead of honoring her new album, I don't know. But instead of honoring that, it honors a very specific Japanese grill.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, I think she should keep it.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, right?
Yeah, because it's got a story behind it. And it's still honoring her, whatever she was honoring.
Yeah.
7 rings. It's like, what, 3 away from like, crap.
10 rings?
Yeah. No, I'm trying. No, I had something.
Good one.
I was making an Iron Man joke.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see the
from a terrorist
connection.
group.
Yeah, I see the connection.
Stupid.
You know what I watched this week? Nope.
Okay.
I watched Ellen DeGeneres' new stand-up special.
Is it good?
No, it sucked.
Okay, because I don't know. I never really understood her humor. Never quite liked it.
I don't know if that's like always her thing, but it was called Relatable, and she made when she was her funniest in the special, she was making jokes about how unrelatable she was. So she would be like talking about like, you know what, I'm really relatable. Everybody knows what it feels like to fire their butler, or something like that. Like,
oh, I see.
So those were genuinely funny jokes, but I found that she did like a lot of setup for like not a great punchline and not like funny setup, just like explaining a situation. And then she would be like, and then I said this, and then you'd be like, good one.
I guess.
So it would be like, so I was at this birthday party with like a 5-year-old kid. It was my niece's birthday party. And then so like just explaining the whole story. And then I said, did you wish for a unicorn?
Oh.
And you'd be like, I mean, it's funny, but it's not like a showstopper. Like,
so she was basically like hoping all the laughter would be coming from the punchline, and then kind of left the rest of it as.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like the audience was eating it up. Like they were just like, oh, she's so funny. Oh! And like, just like crying because she's so funny and so relatable. And like, meanwhile, she's like, there was literally a series of jokes where she was commenting on how we are always on our phones and like we replace that. Yeah. Thanks for listening, by the way.
Oh.
And how we replace that for social interaction. And so she was saying that like her and her wife were each lying on different couches and looking on Instagram and looking at funny pictures and just sending them back and forth to each other, which is like a funny premise. But then she's just like, so like I would send her this, and then on the screen it would be like a funny picture, and then she would send me this, and then I would send her this, and then it was just like, so you're just gonna show photos that aren't even your photos.
It's a play-by-play.
And it's just like, you didn't write any jokes. Like that's not funny. Like they're funny pictures, but that's not your stand-up. Mm-hmm. And so my thought was, after seeing it, like I wonder if she actually worked on any of the material. Like, I mean, I know she wrote it, but I mean, I wonder if she actually did like the dirty work of going to clubs and being like, oh, that joke's not funny. Okay, I won't tell that one. Or, okay, so they really like the setup for this one, but the punchline is not as flashy as I was hoping. I need a new punchline for it.
You're thinking if she just kind of like put that down and then didn't really try it out on any audience?
Yeah, that's when I kind of got the impression of. But anyway, it sucked.
That's too bad. I might check it out just out of curiosity. Yeah. I don't know. One thing that stands out is like that one thing you're talking about the like showing pictures on screen. Cause like, I can't remember who said it, but it was like some comedian was saying like a good joke, you shouldn't need a visual cue to help sell the joke,
Yeah, I mean, it really depends, but it's also like, to me, it was just more like, here's a funny picture from Instagram. Aren't I funny?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it's almost like you're not relying on like your ability to tell a joke. It's something else entirely.
Yeah. But anyway, if you like Ellen, I'm sure you'll love this. It's not funny, though. Victor, it's time for your favorite update of the week. It's time for a Dune update.
Oh, what?
Victor, don't pretend that you
Dune?
don't love Dune.
Oh, Dune. Dang it. I thought you said Doom. I was so excited for a second.
No, it's Dune, Victor, your favorite. So Oscar Isaac is in talks to play Duke Leto Atreides.
Who's Oscar Isaac again? He sounds familiar.
He
Star
played
Wars?
Poe Dameron, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's going to play Duke Leto Atreides. Aren't you excited?
Sure.
Do you know Zendaya?
Yes.
She's going to play Chani. Aren't you excited for Dune, Victor?
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm legitimately excited. And I know you don't know anything about Dune, and I love it.
Wait, what's Dune? Is that the one with the snakes? No, it's Tremors. Shit.
You said the exact same thing last time we talked about Dune.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Listen, the things that come out of my mouth, they don't really resonate with my mind first.
Yeah, I'll say.
Yeah. That's why sometimes I just stop talking and my brain has to catch up.
All right. So before we get into these Marvel leaks that we're going to talk about, DC had some news this week. Did you catch any of it?
Nope.
No, none at all.
Are they going to start making good movies? Oh.
Who's to say? Who's to say? So we have 3 new movies announced.
That's a lot.
The Batman.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
It's coming out June 25th, 2021.
Oh, okay. Ben Affleck?
No, Ben Affleck is out.
Oh.
For sure. It's the end of an era. No more will he, won't he? He's officially out, which is too bad, I think. Because it's like, all he ever wanted to do was play Batman, and he got stuck in like playing like the worst version.
Yeah.
Like he was a good Batman, but he had terrible scripts to work with.
All right, in this scene, you're going to murder these 3 people. I'm sorry, what?
Batman doesn't kill people.
Oh, but in this movie, he does.
But you've read the comics, right? Because he has like a no killing rule.
Yeah. Sure. Here's a gun.
But he doesn't carry a gun because the gun killed his parents right in front of him when he was... Have you read the comics?
Oh, yeah, sure. Oh, we got this Batmobile for you. And this button brings up 2 miniguns.
My check's going to clear, right? You know I've won Oscars, right? He was good, though. Yeah. It's really too bad. Mm-hmm. It sucks that he doesn't get to be in a good one. Because this Batman, they have Matt Reeves doing it, who did the Planet of the Apes trilogy, or the latter 2 of the trilogy.
Did you watch the last one?
Of course I did. Those movies are fantastic, Victor.
I can't tell if you're...
Fantastic. No, they are really good. Yeah, it sounded like this one is going to be pretty good, and it's too bad that Ben Affleck doesn't get to be.
You think
Batman.
you can get someone better? Or you think it's just going to be a downhill slide from here?
I don't know. I honestly, don't have a single thought of like who could play him.
Will Arnett.
Did you know he came to my studio this week?
Yes, I remember you briefly mentioned it.
Yeah, I work from home though, so I didn't get to meet him. Anyway, there's more DC news. 2 more movies. There's the Suicide Squad sequel.
That makes sense.
Titled The Suicide Squad.
Okay.
But it's confirmed now James Gunn is going to direct it.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's coming out August 6th, 2021. And the last DC movie they announced, coming out May 21st, 2021.
That's 3 DC movies in 2021.
That's right. You know what's the last one? DC Super Pets. I'll just hold for applause.
Why? Who is at DC making these decisions?
Like, who is asking for a crypto movie? Like, really? Or in the what is Bat Dog's name? Is it just Bat Dog?
I think it's just Bat Dog.
Ace the Bat Dog, I think his name is.
No, it's Ace, and then there's Bat Cow. Yeah,
who's asking for these? Like, how about make a good Superman movie before you make a crypto movie?
That's kind of my frustration with it. It's like they're making Birds of Prey,
yeah,
and like a Joker movie. Like, you know what? I'm sure there are people who want to see those movies, but like, hit your base heroes first. You know?
Yeah. Crypto does he even talk? Like, I don't know anything about crypto other than his name.
Like, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if they picked up like a Steel movie.
Yeah. I don't know. It's stupid. Why would you unless they're doing a cartoon, then maybe I could get behind that. But like, why are you wasting like $200 million on a Super Pets movie?
Merchandise.
Yeah, maybe. Trying to get the kiddies into their new, no longer dark universe. Anyway, that's the last of the DC news. Do you want to move to some Marvel leaks?
Yes.
So all of this stuff, it's not like plot related. So they're not really spoilers. It's just more about what could possibly happen in the future after Endgame. So this is from a variety of sources.
Just like a heads up for anyone who doesn't want to hear anything about.
Well, there's not even really any plot. Like it's more just movies that are coming out and maybe the general direction that Marvel will be moving after Avengers 4.
Gotcha.
Maybe we'll put we'll put a little spoiler tag there. If you don't want to know anything, we'll put a time code right here. But anyway, shall we begin?
Let's do it.
All right. So Captain Marvel's first post-credit scene will obviously set up Endgame. The second will tease Eternals.
Oh.
Which is, I think that's their next big franchise that they're going to try to put out there.
Well, I was kind of expecting that a little bit sooner than now. Because, like, what was the last one they did? Was, like, Guardians of the Galaxy, right? That was their last big thing. Black Panther kind of had, like, a following already, so. I feel like Guardians
Eternals is, I guess it's their new team movie, right?
I see what you're saying.
Everyone else has been solo stuff. But yeah, there's lots to go through, so.
Wait, Eternals. Name who's the main like two guys in that?
Well, there's a girl named Cersei, and there's a guy named Icarus, I believe.
Yep, lost me already. I have no idea who those people are.
Yeah, so it's one of those things again where it's like I don't really know anything about it, but I trust Marvel to at least make it good.
What was the TV show that they did that didn't go very well?
Inhumans.
Those are who I'm thinking of.
Okay, yeah.
They're basically the same things, right?
Actually, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think because it's the same thing, basically. Instead of the Kree making them, it's the Celestials who made them.
Bunch of copycats.
Anyway, moving on. Endgame may not have a post-credit scene.
That seems strange.
It's like one of those things where it's like, okay, I get that, but it's kind of weird not to have one, but at the same time, it's like...
Like, of all the movies to have one, I feel like that one should be the one to have one.
Well, what would it even be, though? Like teasing something coming, or what would you?
I'd expect it to kind of like teasing it, well, depending on how it ends, but like setting up for what's to come.
I guess so. The next big bad,
Batman.
It won't be Batman.
Batman that murders.
Post Endgame, there will be no more phases. Instead, the MCU will be split into two very different, distinct categories: street level and cosmic. Once the Fox deal is finalized, the Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom will be the links between the two.
I feel like there's still going to be phases. I think people are still going to like treat it like phases.
Probably. I mean, I'm sure they'll just like announce a bunch and they'll be like, okay, that's phase 4.
Mm-hmm. Well, not even say like phase 4, but it's like, well, all the phases have been divided up by Avengers movies, right? So.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
But like, I feel like, I don't know, they're going to have one team up movie, right? And then just use that as the divider.
Honestly, it's just like an arbitrary title to gather a group of movies together. Like it doesn't really matter what you call it. But I find it interesting that they're going to do distinct like street level and cosmic. People in the cosmic realm will be more likely to cross over with each other, and the street level people will be more likely to cross over with street level people.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
That's how I interpret it anyway.
Gotcha.
I could be wrong. By the way, all of this could be wrong. This is like off of 4chan or something. So like
4chan, that's a weird one to like pull off of.
Well, I got it from Reddit, which got it from 4chan.
Oh. So. Those are two questionable sites.
I'm going to talk about Black Widow.
Oh, yeah.
Black Widow begins filming in late February of this year.
Okay.
This upcoming month. The movie alternates between a 16-year-old Black Widow in the year 2000 and a storyline revolving around the Y2K bug, and a 24-year-old Black Widow in the events directly preceding Iron Man 2.
Oh. Is it still same actress?
I don't know. I imagine they could maybe get away with Scarlett playing both of them.
Well, not the 16-year-old, but...
Yeah, probably. Like, because they have reference for her. Like, she started as a child actress. So
I see what you're saying. Like
doing the DH stuff.
Right. That would be fucking cool.
Yeah.
I'd be excited to see that. See what, like how they did Sam Jackson for Captain Marvel. That looks fantastic.
And I mean, she's not an ugly woman. Like, it'd be pretty easy to make her look young. Like, it's not like she has
she's
crazy
still
prominent
pretty
laugh lines or crow's feet or
Yeah.
whatever, right? Like she still looks like she's in her 20s, even though I think she's mid 30s now.
good. Really? Oh yeah, she's close to our age. Oh man.
Yeah, and also I heard Black Widow may be their first R-rated movie that they do.
Yeah, I heard something about that. That's exciting.
Yeah, I don't know if you need it.
Probably not, but
I don't know if they will do it either. I think that one is false. Like, it'd be one thing if it was like Moon Knight or something. Like they're introducing a new character, but it's a character that we've already kind of grown up with, and I'm sure she has a lot of very young fans. And so it'd be weird for them to just suddenly alienate half of the audience.
See, for me, it'd be kind of cool because she's an assassin, right? So it'd be kind of cool to see her. Sounds like from the comics that she had like a dark past and like pretty rough upbringing. So it'd been kind of cool to see some of that. But I guess you can kind of do that without an R rating.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can go dark without, boobs and F words. Like, like
French fry.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
But I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like you can go pretty dark. I don't need to see her rip someone's throat out or anything like that. Like I don't need excessive gore.
It'd be funny though. Like in her movie, she's just terrible, just ripping people up,
just snapping necks left and right.
And then back in the event, she's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna shoot this guy
pew,
and
pew, pew. Just
tase this one.
I'm gonna shoot them with lasers. Pew, 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 pew.
I'm gonna throw this guy on the ground. He's gonna be out. And this time, I won't shoot him in the face."
Yeah, that would be a weird tonal shift. But do you want to know more about the Eternals, Victor? Sure you do.
Okay.
The Eternals will begin shooting later this year. They would originally be introduced in Guardians 3, but since that's been delayed, they might cameo in Avengers Endgame. The movie will explore the origin of the MCU and mostly be set thousands of years into the past. Hercules will be part of the cast, and Thanos is expected to appear in some capacity.
Huh. That's... Oh, okay. I recognize Hercules.
The movies won't always be linear either. Some will be prequels, like Eternals and Black Widow, and some will be flash forwards.
That's going to be confusing.
Maybe
Sorry,
not.
Not the prequels, but the flash forwards.
Yeah, the flash forwards will be confusing, but then it'll be just something will...
I hope they don't do it in a way that like kind of makes the movies in between almost redundant.
Well, yeah, like I know what you mean. Like if you flash forward to something and like, oh man, can you believe Black Panther died? And then every time you go see a Black Panther movie, you're just waiting for him to die.
Or like the other way around. Like you see Black Panther is there, but like every movie in between, it's like, oh, he might die. He might die. No, you saw the movie before. He's alive.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if I like the flash forward, but
yeah.
I talk some Spider-Man.
Spider-Man news?
Spider-Man Far From Home will kick off the main story arc for the street level side. The overarching villain will be Norman Osborn.
Oh, cool.
Big storylines will be Dark Avengers, Dark Reign, and Siege. Have you read any of those?
Read Dark Avengers, read Siege. Don't remember any of them.
I've read comics with the Dark Avengers in them.
Mm-hmm. I don't really remember it. It was
just basically Osborn created his own Avengers.
Just recruit a bunch of people to like mimic the original Avengers.
Yeah. I liked it. I liked it fine. I always liked Norman when he was the evil Tony Stark better, which I've said before, I think, but I like him better than like when he's like Green Goblin. But Guardians 3 was going to set up the cosmic side, but it looks like it's going to be Eternals now. No word on the big arcs yet, but Adam Warlock will be important, and Annihilus will be a recurring villain, much like Loki.
Nihilus.
You know him? He's kind of like a bug creature. He's from the Negative Zone. He's a Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
He was the main villain in Annihilation.
Okay.
Which was a cosmic comic event.
Part of me was really hoping for some news on like Deadpool. Wait,
maybe we'll see.
Do you have some?
No.
Oh, come on.
Skrulls will pop up from time to time, but there are no plans to do Secret Invasion anytime soon. What do you think about that?
I dig it.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know. Like I'd be happy if they just kind of took their time setting that up because it seems like a really big event.
Yeah, like Secret Invasion too, because you have to be careful with who you make a Skrull because then it kind of negates anything that they did.
Yeah.
Like, because depending on how long they've been one, if they did it right now, you'd pick certain characters and it would be like, well, does that mean like when they were being good? Like, was that the Skrull doing that or whatever? Like, but if you plan it like, oh, we're going to reveal this 10 years from now, then you can start planting seeds of like, oh, maybe this character is a
Yeah.
Skrull. And
Like, why would Hawkeye all of a sudden just murder a bunch of people?
I'm glad that it's not
Yeah.
coming soon.
The only downside is though none of the original Avengers is going to be in there. If it, like assuming if they do something like that 10 years in advance, you know, like you're not going to get a Chris Evans cap.
No. Anyway, Shang-Chi will be a departure from the usual sci-fi CGI fare. Instead, they're going to try to make an homage to the classic kung fu movies of the 60s and 70s.
Ooh, okay, I'm sold.
Yeah, like that sounds kind of cool. Like like especially if they're going to be starting to do street level stuff.
Yeah.
Like I would like stuff. It doesn't have to be like the Netflix shows, but like it would be nice that not every plot is end of the world or the city's going to be destroyed or whatever. It's just,
For sure.
man, there's some ninjas in my neighborhood. I gotta kill them. Whatever.
Do you think they're going to do it? They're going to have like a huge separation between the two? Like, do you think it's going to be like just small street level stuff like Spider-Man Homecoming or like Daredevil stuff? Or do you think it's going to be like, or do you think like city destroying stuff is still going to fall into that?
I think I think the big thing will be the what the stakes are. And I think it'll be kind of like how the Netflix shows and the movies are right now. Like how they reference, well, really only Netflix references Marvel, but barely. But where it's like it's its own contained thing, and those characters kind of cross over.
So
but
it
again,
could
this
almost be like Avengers, like literally every movie involving the Avengers, and then Guardians of the Galaxy is kind of like the cosmic side doing their own thing.
Yeah,
And then every so often, or once, they cross over into one movie.
yeah, maybe. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
They want Spider-Man to have 4 movies instead of 3.
That's
But
crazy.
there's no guarantee it'll happen. They do want to build up some incarnation of the Sinister Six, but they want all A-list actors, like how they have Michael Keaton and Jake Gyllenhaal, but for pretty much all of them. So it'll be easier said than done, according to this person.
Why is that mandatory? Like, why is that like a point that they have?
Well, I think
Seems weird, doesn't it?
sells it, right? Like, because then it's like their own little Avengers, right? Like it's
Hey, Tom Holland, who do you want to? Which celebrity do you want to like punch in the face?
because okay, so they have 2 right now. They could potentially, if they wanted to do it for the 3rd movie, they have potentially 4 of them covered, or maybe 5.
Yeah.
Is what we know of Far From Home. Mysterio and Chameleon are in it.
Wait, do we know Chameleon's in it?
Yeah.
Oh, we do.
Well, we don't know it's Chameleon, but there's another guy who is a villain who's named Dimitri. So there are talks about Dark Avengers being assembled by Norman Osborn, as we discussed a little bit earlier. There are reportedly plans to introduce Osborn in the MCU as essentially the evil Tony Stark, a wealthy entrepreneur and technological genius who uses his intellect and resources for evil and sponsors and spearheads his own team of villains. He may not even become the Green Goblin.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I
I don't
think
think we need a Green Goblin.
no, and I think because they always tend to avoid doing what Sony has already done with the characters, I think that's the perfect way to introduce him without being like, again, really?
Yeah.
It's just like, no, he's not going to be the Green Goblin. He's just going to be an evil businessman.
See, changes like that, I don't mind because you're still basically using the character
Yeah.
as his like soul, but like you're still using the essence of the character. Like
Yeah.
it's still like Norman Osborn has always been the guy behind the scenes, kind of manipulating things and like setting things up. Doesn't have to be the Green Goblin. Like Green Goblin was like, yeah, well, he was initially, but like that wasn't 100% his character.
Yeah, and he's inherently more interesting that way, I find. But so I think that's a step in the right direction. And it's another good way to make it different from what Sony has done.
Yeah.
But there are plans to revamp the Avengers post Endgame with a combination of the comics' new Avengers and Young Avengers. So basically a team that mixes up established MCU heroes like Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel, Black Panther, with a new generation of teenage/young adult heroes inspired by the original Avengers. The idea is for the project to play up the eclectic cast, wizards, aliens, gadgeteers, vigilantes, etc., and the cultural clash between the 2 age groups.
I'm down with that.
They still have no idea what the heck they're going to do with the X-Men or the Netflix characters for the most part. The Disney Plus shows won't have much effect on the movies.
Of course, why would it?
Yeah.
Why miss an opportunity like that?
Yeah.
Or why take advantage of an opportunity
I
like
kind
that?
of like that, though. Like, I feel like that would be one thing to kind of expect people to have seen all the movies. It's another thing to be like, you should be paying attention to these TV shows too. Mm-hmm. I mean, there will be fans who do all of that, but in order to understand Ant-Man 2, you have to watch Captain America 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, it's another thing entirely to be like, in order to understand what's going on in Black Panther 2, you have to watch the Loki miniseries. You're like, what? Okay, what? Huh?
I guess that's fair because, yeah, I don't know. Like, imagine if they put stuff in like S.H.I.E.L.D. I'd be pretty annoyed because I don't care for that show.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it'd be kind of cool if they just kind of showed up.
You'd be more likely to watch S.H.I.E.L.D. though, right?
Yeah.
If they did show up, so.
Well, I'd be more likely to watch it if it was good.
Yeah. Finally, Chris Evans is definitely done with Cap, but he's not done with Marvel.
Oh.
Rumor has it they're looking at him to direct stuff.
Oh, shit.
Most likely some Disney Plus episodes.
I hope he cameos.
Yeah, that would be fine.
Not necessarily a Cap, just him.
As Chris Evans?
Yeah.
It's just, look, it's A-list actor Chris Evans. That was it, Victor. That was all the Marvel leaks that I found this week. Anyway, should we get into the topic of the week?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Well, let's go through the plot of the show. Oh, shit.
Yeah, you want to do it? I've been talking for a while now.
Now you have.
Yeah.
So I actually, right away, I don't even know when the show takes place.
You know what we should say? What we're going to talk about.
Well, I mean, if you're listening on this, you click the link. You know what we're talking. We're talking about The Punisher, Season 2.
Season 2. That's right. Did you watch Season 1, Victor?
Obviously.
Yeah, way back when it came out.
Yeah. I was actually a little bit disappointed with that. Not necessarily like the quality of the show, just the direction they took it in is very like slow burning.
Well, it's a Netflix show. Yeah. This show had the same problem, I found.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's a lot of... It was done better, but there's like a lot of filler. Like a lot of episodes where it's just like, oh my gosh, would you just go and beat up someone? Like, like I like these characters, but not enough that I need to know the backstory of everyone who's on screen. Like...
Speaking of the plot, Josh.
Sorry, go ahead.
So this show takes place sometime after The Punisher. In the beginning of the last season. So at the end of the first season, Frank basically gets a clean pass. He gets wiped off the system and he drives off in the sunset. So Season 2 picks up. He's kind of living like a cleaner, non-murdering Punisher lifestyle. Right. And then he gets dragged into...
Dragged is a strong word.
Well, all right. He
voluntarily walks in.
He waltzed into a situation and got himself involved with a kid who was being, I guess, tracked down by a bunch of assassins. Yeah. Mercenaries.
She saw something she shouldn't have. Well, actually, she didn't even see it. She was just holding photographs that she shouldn't have had. But
she didn't even see the photographs at that point. It was still a roll of film.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what did you think of Season 2, Victor?
I think it was really well done, despite what you said about it being like a slow burning. Like, I know I complained about the first one being a little bit slow, but this one, like, I don't think it had the same issues as like the other Netflix shows where as you're watching, it felt like you're watching a bunch of filler episodes in between, where the hero basically gets taken out of commission and then just a bunch of crap the sub characters are dealing with. Like it kind of starts off with a bang and it kind of mellows out a little bit in the middle, but like there's always, I don't know, for me there was always something interesting going on with Billy Russo or shit, what was the detective's name? The Madani. So, and I don't know, I really liked Frank's arc in this. Like, I don't know, if you really break it down, is it really that much of an arc for him? But I like the way his character was done. Like I liked where he was at the beginning, but Billy Russo's arc was really interesting for me.
Yeah. For me, I did really like the show, but it was like kind of like Aquaman, where I had a moment where I was just like, okay, this is not a direct adaptation of the characters, you know. Mm-hmm. This is very loosely adapted. They've taken some of the better qualities of the characters and they've made them more realistic, more grounded. And so once I was able to flip that switch in my brain, I was like, okay, I can really enjoy this now. Yeah. Because for the most part, Frank and Billy are not what they are in the comics. Mm-hmm. And that's fine because this is an adaptation. but they both are just so phenomenal in this show that's what really brings it together for me. Is, as I'll mention later, like it's like the action scenes are kind of few and far between sometimes, and there's a lot of character work in the show, and the actors are very, very good, and so it makes that a little bit more enjoyable, I should say, and easier to swallow your medicine. You know, so.
Well, the one thing that stood out to me was like, for all the Netflix shows that we've watched, like Luke Cage, Iron Fist, even Jessica Jones, like I've been itching for one of them to be, I guess, combat heavy, just more a bit faster paced. Punisher kind of delivers season 2, anyways. Like the first 3 episodes has some kind of action in it, action that I would relate to the Punisher. I kind of like seeing that. Like it, like I said, it kind of mellows out a little bit, but like there's never really like more than 2 episodes in between that kind of action. So
anyway, so you want to just give a verdict and then we'll start getting into spoilers?
Like I enjoyed it enough that I would probably watch it again at some point, even if they don't do a season 3.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence. I don't know. I really enjoyed it, but it's not something I would rewatch. It's a lot of.
How would you rank it among the other Defenders?
So many. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it, Victor. There's so many.
Would you watch over like another Daredevil season?
Oh yeah, for sure. I've done that already.
Okay.
Daredevil, I love. Anyway, shall we get into it?
Yeah.
Let's get into Frank Punisher.
Frank Punisher. So imagine if that was his actual name.
Well, okay. So the first 3 episodes, as you mentioned, they're kind of like a little movie. Like it plays out, it's just like a plot of a movie, and it kind of has a very significant beginning, middle, end, and then it's like it ends, and then it's like next episode we're going to be in New York and the show's going to start. It's going to be great. And so the first 3, it's kind of contained to that one plot, and then
like if you just started the show, well, like you wouldn't know much about Amy, but Amy's the girl, right?
Yes, Amy. Yeah. Like it took me a while to learn her name because she kept giving fake names to everybody.
Yeah, if you just start on episode 4, you knew about Amy, then like, you're pretty much caught up. You don't really need to know what happened before that. Yeah,
because they don't really reference it too much. It's just kind of to introduce you to the plot of the Amy subplot, which is, to put it down, she and her friends were hired by Russians to take photos of a senator who was closeted kissing another man. And so because they had the photos, we find out later in the series that the senator's parents hired assassins to kill her and all her friends. She happened to be outside of the room when it happened, so she lived, and so she's on the run, and she's just trying to get rid of the photos when we first meet her. And then Frank kind of sees that she's in trouble when they're at the same bar and assassins show up to kill her, and that's when he steps in and decides to be her guardian angel, I guess.
But like that bar fight scene is probably by far my favorite fight scene of all the Netflix shows. 100%.
Yeah, I really like that. I actually have that written down in my notes.
All takes place in the bathroom. It's fantastic. Well,
most of it, yeah.
The good part anyways.
Yeah.
The best part. Sorry, it's all good. The best part is just the bathroom.
I really liked it. What did he wraps something around his...
It's a belt.
His belt. Yeah. I really like that. He does that a lot, which... I really enjoy about the fight scenes is he does some unconventional things, but they're like incredibly smart things for someone who understands what it's like to be in a fight. And like, so it's like, I'm going to wrap a belt around my arm because they have knives, so I can use my arm to block the knives then. Yeah, I really liked that fight scene. There's another fight scene later on in the show where he's in a gym and he fights a bunch of Russians
he's going to
using workout equipment.
That was brutal.
Yeah, a lot of broken kneecaps, and there's one guy, he just caves in his skull with a barbell weight.
Yeah.
It's just, oof.
That's what I mean, though. Like, it's like if you count all the fight scenes, there's a lot in here. Like, you have the bar scene, you have the shootout at the police station, and then you have, I guess, next one would be the gym.
Yeah,
and then all the stuff in between with Billy Russo.
But here's the thing, though. You're naming off of like 6 or 7 in 13 hours of television.
But like it can't all be that.
I mean, there could be more though. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I said earlier that I enjoyed the character work in this. Like Frank and Billy are really well done.
Yeah.
But I don't need to know Billy's therapist backstory. Like, I don't need to know why Curtis is the way that he is. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need all this extra stuff. Like, the main assassin who's hunting after Amy and Frank, John Pilgrim, I don't need to know much about him. He could have just been a nameless assassin. Like, I don't need a whole episode dedicated to how he was a gangster and then found God and then is now a gangster again and like an assassin. Yeah. Like I don't need that.
Like, I didn't mind that too much though, because like I found his character was interesting enough because he presented so little in his performance that like, showed off so little about his character in a good way. I don't mean that in like, he just couldn't act. But like,
I called him Dead Eyes.
Kind of did have it, eh?
Yeah.
His hat drove me insane. I hated it.
You didn't like it?
It looked terrible.
Very Amish hat. Mm-hmm. Not that he was Amish, but
no, I don't know. Like the more I saw of him, the more I want to know. So I was satisfied with what we got. We didn't get too much, and we didn't get so little that I was wanting more.
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing with the Netflix shows in general is that they always explain the villains, and sometimes it's a little too much. Like, I know you didn't watch Daredevil season 3, but Bullseye is one of the villains in it.
Yeah.
And they spend a lot of time building him up, and he starts off as a good person, and they dig into his character and why he could maybe snap, and when he does finally snap, and stuff like that. And it's kind of like, okay, this is interesting, but at the same time, I would be satisfied with just, he's a crazy hitman. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need everything explained to me.
I guess they're trying to stay away from like what they've done in the movies, where there's just like a nameless villain or a faceless villain that gets like tossed away later at the end of the film. But I do wish though that like this movie was just two stories, just two sides, just Frank's side and Billy's side, and then kind of like cut out the rest of the characters.
Well, that was the thing too, is like there was two plots in this movie, and they kept bouncing back and forth, like they couldn't decide which one they wanted to follow. And there's literally an episode where they're like, we can't concentrate on that plot right now. Let's just concentrate on the Russo stuff. And then once he's dealt with, we'll deal with the side plot. And so it was just like, okay. So you clearly can't decide what to concentrate on. So what did you think of Billy?
Oh, it's awesome. I don't know, I felt bad for him. Like how hard people were writing him at the beginning. Like, yeah, you did some awful stuff, but like if you don't remember stuff, you kind of have to treat those people differently.
Yeah.
To a degree, you know, like imagine you had no memory and people were just like shitting on you every day of your life.
Well, he did some pretty heinous stuff in season 1.
No, I get that, but.
Well, yeah, I understand. I understand what you're saying, though.
Because like he was
relatable.
Yeah, like the entire first half of the show, it's like, oh, he could have been like, okay, he could have been like somewhat redeemable potentially, but then people are shitting on him so hard that they're just like pushing him back into what he was.
Yeah. And that was the thing with him. Like he is so well acted because he has genuine mental issues, and you can see moments of vulnerability in him, and like it's the way that he presents himself. It's kind of subtle, but not really. Like he's never over the top, like when he goes a little nuts, which is really nice. But it's like he has these moments of manicness, if that's a word. Yeah. Where it's like...
I understand what it is anyways.
Because he's a very well-spoken, authoritative guy, but then he has these moments of manicness where like he starts speaking faster and stuttering and repeating himself. And like, it's just so like, just incredibly believable, like mental illness, like on screen. Like you can see how this strong, aggressive guy is actually like struggling in these moments.
And like the beginning of the movie when he's in the hospital, his therapist, is it therapist?
Dumont.
Yeah.
Is her name.
Like she gets him to write in a journal or draw in a journal or something to, I guess, write down these dreams that's been haunting, which is like a white skull that's chasing him down or whatever.
Because Frank was the one who put him in the hospital in the first place.
Yeah. The first time he sees the skull on Frank's armor, he's in the middle of the street and he's freaking out.
Yeah.
And like, I like that. That was like,
that was good.
That was a cool bit. I liked how they played out his little breakdown.
Yeah. That's the good word for it, is breakdown. But I wrote down he's the MVP of the show. Like he really sold it. but his scars. Okay, because that was the thing. That was one of the turning points for me. I was just like, okay, he just has some scars. It's just a guy with scars. It's not Jigsaw. Because Jigsaw in the comics, he's just like a gangster. Mm-hmm. And he hates Frank Punisher because Frank Punisher threw him into, well, I don't know what it is in the comics, but in Punisher Warzone, it's like a bottle recycling machine. And so he just gets like torn to shreds. Mm-hmm. And so I get it, because you can't have a show where a guy who is going to have a romantic love interest and like have to emote all this craziness. You can't have him wearing like a face mask of patchwork skin every day. So I get that they have to like downplay his scars, but it's just like
I don't know, like you look
so gorgeous still.
Oh, he is good looking. But I don't know, you look at it like, I don't know, like you see some people that come out of like horrible accidents and with like modern technology, like they come out still looking pretty close to what they looked like before. Like, yeah,
it's a comic book though. Come on.
I know,
Victor, it's a comic book.
I know, but like it's not like his face was like dipped in gasoline and set on fire, you know?
He was dragged across broken glass.
But again, they're cuts. They're not like, you're not ruining the texture of the skin. You're cutting it up, right?
Yeah. I get it.
It is a little, yeah. I wish it was a little bit more roughed up. Yeah. Like I wish the scars were a little bit larger and like carried up a little bit further up.
Everything was just kind of like, this is where the stitches were and it healed together nicely and there's like a nice cut there. But if like he had like weird bumps or like his eye socket was pulled to one side or something because the skin healed.
Yeah.
Funny. Like cool. That, it would have been better, but yeah, it's fine. What do you think about Dumont and his relationship with her, the therapist, for those of you following at home?
She's fine, I guess.
You didn't like her?
I liked the character. I just didn't care for her position in this show. I think that she's maybe her story was probably the only one that like I wish I saw less of.
Oh yeah.
It just seemed like a bit too much. You could say like she just fell madly in love with this man because it reminded her so much of her father.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. And I was also not at all shocked by it. Mm-hmm. Like the moment she took him in, I was like, well, they're going to end up doing it.
Yeah.
Which they did.
Yeah.
And I even wrote in my notes, look at my shocked face. Yeah, what did you think about Madani in this season?
I thought she was kind of annoying.
Yeah, I didn't like her either.
Yeah, she's like too aggressive.
Like I
understand like her
I understand her motivations, but it's kind of like, yeah.
To be fair, she looks pretty good for being shot in the head.
Yeah, she healed up nicely too.
Yeah,
I would be mad if I got shot in the head. Probably wouldn't, go to the guy's hospital bed every day.
Yeah, it seems like.
Did you notice? Okay, people in this show just seem to forget their ailments like by the next episode.
What do you mean?
Like, okay, all sorts of times this happened. Like, Frank broke his hand, and like within 3 episodes, he was fine again. He dislocated his shoulder and just popped it back in, like
Is that how
Mel
it works?
Gibson. Yeah, but it still hurts. Like, I mean,
he screamed for like 3 seconds.
Okay, so there's a whole thing where he goes into Billy's base to go and attack him, and Billy's expecting him, and all these guys beat the snot out of him, cut him open with knives and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So bad that like he is taken into the hospital and he's lost a lot of blood. There's a lot of internal bleeding and stuff like that. And like the next day he escapes from the hospital. He just gets up out of bed. And it's like, I understand one thing, if like he can go do an action scene after being like beat the crap like that, because your adrenaline is pumping and you just don't think about the pain. But after you've had a full night's rest, you don't wake up and just go, yeah, I'm ready for breakfast. Like, like you'd be so sore. I called the last few episodes of the show The Walking Dead because it's just a bunch of guys with severe injuries somehow just walking around fighting each other.
Yeah.
Because John Pilgrim had the same thing where he got a pretty substantial...
He got a shotgun to the leg.
Yeah.
That's intense.
That was disgusting when he was pulling the buckshot out of his thigh.
That's kind of cool.
Oh, so
I like the special effects and makeup they used on it. It's cool.
Actually, I really like the scene they had with him where he's adjusting all his wounds after a fight scene he had. Like all of his old gangster buddies felt he betrayed them, and so they try to kill him. And so it just cuts to him back in his hotel room, and he's like kind of addressing his wounds. And as he's addressing each one, they show like how he got it in the fight scene. I really liked that, where like he's like pulling some guy's teeth out of his skull because he headbutted him, and then like
actually that's the guy that John Pilgrim goes to get information, basically set out the $5 million bounty. The restaurant owner. The first time I saw him, I thought that was Seth MacFarlane. Guy
like the young guy?
Yeah. Guy who sets that up.
Yeah.
I thought it was Seth MacFarlane. It looked like him.
He did look like that. He also kind of looked like Turtle from Entourage.
I don't know what that
is. Okay. Anyway. Did you notice Frank's grunting every time he got into a fight?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's an intentional thing.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like he's supposed to be like an unleashed dog. And so he's just like,
he does that a lot. Like that's kind of like his thing for like he did that in The Walking Dead.
That's true. Can't protect him, Rick.
You notice he like barks
at
people?
Yeah.
There's one scene he's like talking like there's some guys talking. He's just like, hurry.
He's so funny. But only he can get away with it because he has that face where he's just like, yeah, you look like you sound like that. Like you don't look like you're like you look like you can back that up. Like
well, that was like the one thing I was talking about. Like I was watching this with a friend. And I was like, there's the one thing that kind of pulled me out of it every so often was this like I get that he's trying to pull from like guys in the military who kind of act like that, really tough, intense, like badasses. Yeah. But like sometimes it's too much.
Because I found it funny where like I think it was the first time he goes after Russo, like he first reveals himself and he's wearing the Punisher vest, and like he's talking normally to Curtis on the phone, and then he gets out of the car and Russo has had his realization that Frank is the skull in his dreams. He's like, "Did you do this to me?" He's like, "You're right, I did." He just like right before he's just like, "Curtis, you got my back, right?" And then the next, "Yeah, I did." Got any other thoughts?
I thought I had something. No, you go for it.
I didn't like that he hooked up in the first episode.
No?
No.
Well, when you say it like that, yeah. But like the way it led to it, I liked it.
Yeah. I just don't. Because he's supposed to be like this. In my head, the way I see the character is he's supposed to be like this robot. He's supposed to be sexless.
Robots have sex too, Josh.
No, people have sex with robots. It's
Same thing.
A different. I didn't like that though.
No,
and it also went nowhere because she was never back in the series.
I kind of like. I don't know. Like I like that because then it's not that she was never back in it, but like I like that he hooked up with her and it's like, oh well, you know what? Maybe this is my chance to like start over. And then like he sees Amy in trouble, he goes into like gets mixed up in that, and he's like, ah shit. I guess I'm back in it again, boys.
Yeah. Well, that was the other thing too, was the editing for their lovemaking scene. Because it was the first episode, you're not used to them doing like the flashing forward and then flashing back and then the flashing forward. And so it would be like they're in the middle of it and then it would just cut to them. They've finished and they're just talking. And then it would cut back to them doing it. I was like, all right, that was kind of a non sequitur, but
no, they just, no, those are just breaks in between.
Yeah. They did it like 5 times.
Frank, you dog.
I didn't like that. And I didn't like that. Like it played a little bit differently. And by the time the story arc was ended, it was fine. But I really didn't like the cliche a young girl makes the violent guy find his heart storyline.
I don't know if I don't like,
because it was a little bit, there was more depth to it because they had 13 hours to play it out. But like when it started, I was like, oh, great. Like they're going to hug at the end and they're going to be like, you mean everything to me, which happened. But by the end, it's more believable.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't mind it because it wasn't played up that much, you know, like it reminded him of his daughter or like what potentially what his daughter could have been at that age.
Yeah.
Minus the whole blackmailing and like thieving shit. But
yeah,
I don't know. Like I like that. Like that. I think that was it's been a while since like I've teared up over a scene, and like that scene at the end where they're at the bus station where he's sending her off. I don't know. Touch me a little bit. It got me going.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like the ending. One thing that really bothered me was the last 10 seconds of the show where Frank shows up at that warehouse between the two gangs.
And then smash cut to In Memory of Stan Lee. That was weird. Because it's just like, on the Punisher or whatever, and just murders people. And then it's just like, In Memory of Stan Lee. But like what? Sorry, go ahead. Finish your thought.
But like, yeah, he shows up in the warehouse. He's brought two gangs together without them knowing. Like they thought the other gang kind of called them for a meeting or whatever. Frank's like just walks in with his like weird black trench coat. He's like, hey, dance with me. He just pulls out two like M16s, just starts firing while like screaming at the same time.
Yeah, he turns into the grunting machine again.
Yeah, it just seems like the trench coat looks so out of character. Like I understand like that's a throwback to like his look in the comic, but it doesn't look right. There's after the gym scene where he goes up and basically destroys those Russians in the gym.
Yeah.
He walks back to Madani's place and he's just covered in blood.
I know.
It's like, did you not think to just, give that a clean up before you left the gym?
So why didn't he bring a gun there?
He's the Punisher.
Yeah, that's what the Punisher would do.
This is Frank Punisher.
You're right.
Yeah, because there's definitely been a lot of times where he could have just skipped the whole getting punched and kicked in the face for 15 minutes and just shot everyone.
I do. That is something I really like about him, is that it's not that he's a great fighter. It's just that he can take more than other people.
He's like Daredevil.
Yeah, like Daredevil, but like he's just, the reason why he wins all the time is that his endurance is more, like he can take more pain.
Yeah.
And he ends up
just
doing
massive
some awful
amounts of
thing to
adrenaline.
somebody. Like he can pull a knife out of his forearm and stick it into your skull and stuff like that. But
So badass.
I do like that. I'm just reading my notes now.
Yeah, go for it.
Episode 4 is boring. I think that was one where it was just character stuff for the entire
Literally
thing.
all you wrote for episode 4.
Yeah. Oh, okay. This was the other thing. I mentioned it in Bumblebee as well, but the bully, the girl who just makes fun of her for no reason. It's happened in Punisher as well.
The guy with Billy?
The guy on the bus who just like, oh man, you're ugly.
Yeah.
I'm just going to make fun of you for the entire bus ride. And like, it's just, nobody exists. I don't know. Maybe I just live in a nice city, but like, I have never seen that happen where it's just like, hey man, you're fat. Like, I'm just going to make fat jokes the entire time until you leave.
Yeah, I feel like the people who do that are usually with friends. Like you rarely see like bullies like that act out on their own.
Yeah.
Because you're not putting on a show for anyone.
No, right? And it's just like, why?
That's half the enjoyment with you, right?
Also, Billy had awful headaches in the hospital. And then all of a sudden he just didn't anymore.
It's the crime. The crime heals everything.
Yeah.
Also, what do you like? Did they ever explain why she gave him that mask in the hospital?
I think he was embarrassed of his scars at first. And then it was because I think it was his mask. And then she was just like, well, maybe draw on it.
Mm-hmm. What do you think the world wants to see? Or what face do you want to show the world?
Before we knew that, I wrote a note that said, who gave him that mask? Because it's mean.
I actually, that mask was really cool. I really like the way they designed it. There's no way that Billy did that. And that was the only thing I threw in. I was like, yeah, there's no way. This guy, no, he's not designing this shit.
I found that Frank was the most Punisher, at least up until this point when I wrote this note. Remember when he showed Amy how to take the gun off the guy, and then the next time he walks in, she throws a tennis ball at him and then tries to take his gun, and then he just shoves it in her face and then like fires bullets past her head, and it's just like, is that what you want to do? Oh, you want to fire a gun? You want to be a big man? And whatever. I was just like, that's Punisher.
Man, her hearing is going to be awful after that. It was so cool. In like a small space like that.
And she's just bawling, and he's got his hand all over her neck and screaming at her face or barking at her face because he's a dog. There was other times too where he decided not to kill people.
Like like the assassin at the end, John Pilgrim.
Well, that one was, by that point, it had been like, okay, he found his heart or whatever. Mm-hmm. But there was some, like at Russo's base, he just ties up one of the guards. He like knocks him out and then does a zip tie on his hands. Right. I was like, why do you care about not killing this guy? The other one that really baffled me was when they went to develop the photos, and the guy was like, he was like a child porn photographer.
Yeah.
And Punisher was going to kill him, and then Amy's like, well, don't kill him. And he's like, maybe you're right. But
He's a
he
Batman
literally
now?
killed a guy for selling child porn in Daredevil season 2. So like, how is this guy fine to be left alive in Frank's eyes?
No, to be fair, he was going to kill him, but then Amy was very adamant about keeping him alive. And she's like, well, don't kill him, but if you want, you can burn the place down.
Hey,
That's a fair compromise. Just leave the guy in there. If he dies, he dies.
oh, did you like how Dumont? Well, I guess she didn't die, but did you like how she died?
Kind of.
That fight with Madani where she gets thrown out the window.
Oh, that fight scene bothers me now that I think about it.
Why does it bother you?
Donnie's like a trained Homeland Security agent. She's getting tossed around. They were almost equal in that fight. What the shit?
It was fine. That didn't bother me. I get your point, but it didn't bother me. I really thought the kettle was gonna be the decider.
Right? Yeah. I thought that was going to happen. I thought that was going to be used at some point.
I really thought Dumont was gonna get boiling water in the face, and then it would be like, she's ugly now too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that would have been good.
I was like, that would be poetic. But then they threw out the window. I was like, ooh, that's even more poetic. But then she didn't die.
That was like what? Second story.
A third story.
Third story?
Yeah.
Third story. That's
30 feet ish.
No, 30 feet to the ceiling. So that's your, like, to your feet.
25. Because it was like a jump out, right? Like third.
All right.
25.
Let's say 25 feet. 25 feet, that's...
There's a 25% chance of you dying. I think they say that's every 10 feet, there's an extra 10% of you dying.
Yeah, I was talking about this with someone. I think there was an episode on Mythbusters that talked about that. And I think 4 stories is like almost a guaranteed death.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know where I got my percentage thing from.
I could be wrong too. I am definitely uninformed.
Well, let's agree that we're both maybe wrong.
But like 25 feet, I'm not surprised that she survived.
I don't know. To me, I thought it would have been better if she died, though. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not unrealistic that she lived. I'm just saying, it would have been better if she just died. Because, like, she was only in one other scene after that, and it was a nothing scene. Like, nothing was accomplished in it. So,
It almost felt like they were trying to set her up for like a villain part.
yeah.
Yeah.
What did you think about Billy dying?
I honestly like the whole lead up to him dying, between him getting shot by Madani.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I felt bad for him, but then you kind of like take his story as a whole and it's like, yeah, that makes sense. That's fine. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I kept having the thought that he was going to live.
Yeah.
Like, I thought, with every circumstance, I was just like, oh, well, he'll make it out of this, right? Because, like, he has to have a big confrontation with Castle at some point. But when the moment happened, like, when Frank just showed up and unceremoniously just murdered him,
Yeah.
I was just like, yeah, that's kind of perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like, I don't know, I was hoping they would have a little bit of an exchange before Frank like just offed him, but like, so I don't know, like, I don't know, you want to just say like how he died or how he got to that point?
Oh, yeah. So right after Madani has a fight with Dumont, she throws Dumont out the window, and Billy just happens to be walking up at that time. And so she sees Dumont and he sees Madani up in the window. And so he runs up in a rage and she shoots him 3 times.
Yeah. Twice in the gut and then once in, I think, the shoulder.
Yeah. And then so he wakes up, he strangles her to unconsciousness, and then he wakes up and runs off. And I think he grabs like some morgue guy or like a vet or something too.
He goes to some like weird, like sketchy surgeon.
Yeah. And so he ends up passing out while the guy's pulling bullets out of his stomach. And so the guy just robs him and leaves him in a dumpster to die.
And like, when he walks in with like a duffel bag full of cash, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he passes out. The doctor kind of like just dumps him in a dumpster somehow. Anyways, yeah, he wakes up from the dumpster. He gets out, and then he like makes his way over to Curtis's, I guess like
his VA meetup. His help.
And he ends up calling Curtis and just saying like, "Hey, like I don't want to die alone. Like I know I don't deserve this, but it'd be nice to have you here."
Yeah.
And then Frank shows up, and Billy's like, "Oh, I didn't expect this, but you were always the one to be by my side." And then just like, boom, boom, 2 shots to the heart.
Yeah. It was good. I kind of liked it. Like, I at that point, I was like, I want to see more of him. But at the same time, I was like, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I was okay with that. I'm fine with Billy dying.
So, like, Amy's whole plan was, like, John Pilgrim shows up at the trailer. And then she escapes from the fight.
Yeah.
And so she gets into his trunk, leaves her cell phone.
Yeah.
And then goes up to the 6th floor because that's where the elevator stopped. And what was her plan? Just to walk around with a shotgun?
Just listening on each room.
But it's like, well, why would that work?
It's not a great plan.
No. It's just, she was lucky he was praying when he was pulling out that buckshot. But yeah, so that was a weird one. I liked Creepy Ed immediately.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I thought he was kind of like... It kind of threw me off. I really liked him when he agreed to show them the bodies.
Right, Creepy Ed was in the morgue. So
Punisher had like broken into Billy Russo's warehouse.
Oh yeah, this is the dumbest thing about the show. Sorry, go ahead, finish.
But he basically shoots up the place, gets ambushed, and he goes up and chases who he assumes is Billy, and finds 3 women dead on the ground into a room that he had previously shot up. He kind of broke down a little bit, thinking that he was the one that like murdered 3 innocent women. Yeah,
because the whole reason, going back to Madani fighting Dumont, Dumont invites Madani over is she's trying to figure out Frank's weakness. And so by talking with Madani, she figures out, oh, he still thinks he's a good person. And so in order to break him, we need to make him think he's no longer a good person. Yeah. And so they concoct this elaborate plan where Frank will fire into a room and then realize that he's killed 3 innocent women. It works. Like he immediately is like, oh, I don't deserve to live. I've killed 3 innocent women.
Batman, is that you?
He's just like, not to mention like the hundreds of criminals he's killed, but
but they all had a reason.
Who is he to judge?
It's a Punisher.
Come on. Anyway, that's why they go down to the morgue to see Creepy Ed because Karen and Madani are going to
investigate the bodies.
Yeah. And so they find out that based on the gunshots that Frank couldn't have killed them because they were all close up executions. And so they go back up and they're like, Frank, good news, you didn't kill them. He's like, what? I didn't kill them? So I'm still a good guy? Like, sure. Yes, you are.
Let's go with that.
He's like, well, then let's escape.
Get me out of these cuffs. I'm not an animal.
Come on, do it. It's actually hurting my voice now. His bark. But anyway, so that was the dumbest thing. But Creepy Ed, the morgue guy, I really liked.
But it's funny, like when he agrees to show the 2 of the bodies, like he gets out of his desk and he like puts on these like what? It's like Crocs, I think.
Yeah, it was Crocs. Yeah. He was barefoot when you first meet him. And you're like, oh, that's weird.
Is he a hippie? Come on.
So it's kind of implied that the deal between him and Karen was that maybe she'll sleep with him or maybe she'll go on a date with him or something like that. But then later on in the episode, we find out that he just wanted her high heels. And we just see him walking around in them later.
Yeah, they pull the fire alarm and Karen's walking down the hall, like her head down. I thought it was because like, oh, she didn't want to be seen. But like to me, it kind of came across as like the walk of shame. It's like, oh, I had to give up my shoes for this. This sucks.
Yeah. But it worked.
Yeah.
I liked it. It was pretty funny. I wrote this down. Dumont telling Billy Frank's weakness is not the same thing as killing those women. You remember how like after the fact, like Billy like puts the bullets on the table and he's just like, you and me, we did this together. And he's like, no, she didn't. She didn't know. Like, granted, she knew you would take that information and use it.
Yeah.
But it's not the same as killing those women.
Yeah.
I wrote it's easy to get what you want when you're pretty. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah. When like Amy and Karen just flirt their way into rooms and get what they want.
Can you imagine like instead of Amy sneaking or like Karen sneaking, it was Foggy trying to sneak.
Hey man, he can charm people too. I want to see a movie. I'm sure the joke's been done, but like where it's like an ugly person trying to flirt their way in and they're like, no, like this is a restricted area. I don't care who you are.
Unless you're Britney Spears, you ain't getting through here.
I liked it. I liked it fine. It was a good season. There was never a time where I was just like, okay, well, I have to watch this because we're going to talk about it on the podcast. But
like I looked forward to pretty much every episode.
Yeah.
Because there may have been one.
Episode 4.
I can't even remember what happened in episode 4.
Neither do I. I think it was just character stuff, but it was boring, Victor.
Oh, really? I don't know. I think for me it was probably like one close to like 7 or 8.
Okay.
Somewhere near that area. I watched it all in I watched like 5 episodes in one sitting, so it kind of all blended together for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I liked it. It's kind of bittersweet because it was like, it's not going to get picked up for season 3. They're probably going to cancel it, like they canceled all the other Netflix shows. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of bittersweet to see the end. It is probably the end of, like, it's the end of the Daredevil universe because, you know, it had Karen in it one episode. Turk was in it for episode. Mahoney, the detective from this season, he started in Daredevil. Punisher himself started in Daredevil. So it's really like, this is the last time we'll see that.
Yeah,
universe, because even though Jessica Jones still has another season coming out, it's very contained to their particular universe. So
yeah, even season 2, none of the characters from my other stuff or the other series kind of kicked in.
I don't remember anyone showing up.
But like, I don't know, like it sucks, but at the same time, I don't really mind too much because like, yeah, it started off strong with Daredevil, but it didn't really take off from that point. It wasn't like going from Iron Man to Civil War, you know, like it didn't really get that much better.
I see what you're saying. It didn't increase in quality. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think there's 2 reasons for that, I think. And one was that all of them suffered from, they were all too long.
Well, I think that's what happens when you have like a script, but then you're forced to make it fit 13 episodes.
Yeah.
Either cramming or you're spreading things out to fit.
Yeah, and the other thing is they're all very samey, right? Like it's the same tone, and it's like it's all in New York, and even if you do recognize New York, it's, to the layman, it just all looks like the same alley and
all the same building, because most of it's shot in buildings because it's cheaper to shoot inside than it is outside, right?
And I think you've said it before, like even the same plot breakdown of like, there's a few episodes of introduction, and then there's the episode where the hero loses his powers or is unconscious for the entire episode, and then
you get one episode of like the villain being developed.
So I mean, it just wasn't different enough between each show. And so I think that ultimately hurt the Netflix shows, and people lost interest. Because you remember when Daredevil season 1 came out, like the event that was.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, Iron Fist came out this weekend.
Yeah, you never hear anything about that.
Yeah. But I liked this. I would maybe watch it again. I don't know. It's kind of, it's a lot of heavy character stuff. So maybe not, but
I'll definitely put it on again for sure.
But and it's characters that it's like, they're not like my all-time favorites.
Gotcha.
Either. Like Daredevil, I can watch all that character stuff again because I love Daredevil and I love his side characters. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, and like I think you said before that like Punisher and Jigsaw in this aren't really Punisher and Jigsaw in the comics.
No,
but I don't know. Like I like this version of them. I think it's kind of gets the essence of the characters to the point where I believe it and I agree with it. So yeah, I'm sad we won't get a Punisher season 3, but at the same time, I'm fine with it. There's enough going on in the Marvel universe that
I would like to see, because these shows are incredibly well casted as well, and so I would like to see them show up in a movie. Like I wouldn't mind John Bernthal or what's his name, Charlie Cox showing up in like a Spider-Man movie.
Oh yeah, didn't Charlie Cox say that he wanted to do like a Spider-Man Daredevil crossover? That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
Do you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Well, thanks for listening this week, guys. Next week, I'm going to watch Glass. No, not Glass.
No. You want to try
Split.
Unbreakable.
Unbreakable.
And Split.
Yeah.
And we're going to review both of them next week.
Yeah. It'll be my first time seeing them, so.
Yeah.
New territory for me. And then at some point, we're going to watch Glass and talk about that.
They call me Mr. Glass.
I don't get that reference yet.
You will next week.
And if you have a comment, leave in the comment section. Or if you want to contact us directly, you can email us at averageuninformed@gmail.com.
Yeah, if you want to recommend a topic or a movie that you'd like us to talk about, feel free to leave a comment or talk to us.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.